How do we handle teenagers of today?
The teenagers of today are not the problem. The problem is those who are handling those teenagers. Those who are handling the teenagers have to understand that the times are changing. Just like you are changing, the adolescents are also changing. They are exposed to many things that you and I were not exposed to. They have the comfort, the affluence. Most of the teenagers, they do have affluence. And if they don't have affluence, the parents make sure that they are given the best. So first of all, the teenager of today doesn't have to work to get anything. They are offered everything on a platter. And when they are offered everything on a platter, they take it. They are supposed to take it. And there is a certain kind of psyche that works in a teenager that is instant, that's what we call it, instant gratification. Which means they don't measure, they don't modulate, they don't discriminate, they don't analyze. All they do is they want this now, they want it now. They want to do this now, they have to do it now. But that's called the instant gratification behavior. That's very normal for any adolescent. Earlier days, the adolescents also did, the teenagers also did that, but the difference was it didn't seem so risky or dangerous as today, because the teenagers of yesterday never had so many distractions. Today there are many distractions for a teenager. It is not her fault or his fault. And there is more exposure for a girl student, for a girl teenager, and also the boys. And there is more interaction between the boys and the girls, which is very healthy, which is very normal, which is the way it should be, so that they are given the time and the ability to understand the gender differences. And unless they understand the gender differences, it's very difficult for them to cope the pressure of work or life with two opposite sexes living together. It's very difficult for today's world. But having said all this, the teenager of today, you label them as rebels. You label them, when they question you, you label them as rebels. But unfortunately, you were not given that opportunity to question. You have given them the opportunity to question, so you should be ready with those answers. Actually, to tell you the truth, the Eastern world and the Western world both are equally confused when it comes to handling of teenagers. In the East, people want their children to go to international universities or to any of these Western universities to have their education. Because for some reason we feel that they become more competent and they become more smart to handle their career or life. So when you send them to a Western society, they are going to absorb not only the education that's provided there, but also the environment that's in the Western society. I'm not judging anything. I'm not saying which is right or which is wrong. It's just that the Western environment is different from the Eastern environment. So you absorb the Western environment, come back to the East. And when you come back to the East, you are unable to adapt to the Eastern society. So a teenager fumbles. He or she, they think, which is the culture am I supposed to adopt? Which is the culture am I supposed to absorb? But as a parent of a teenager, one should understand that you can help them. What they need is not your preaching. What they need is not your advice. What they need is your support while they go through this. Because you and I, we never went through this. But today's teenagers are actually going through a journey of life which is much, much more complicated mentally. Who has created this complication? I do not know. It may be self-created, it may be environmental, it may be anything. But the treading of that road is very complicated. The more complicated so because of the affluence that you have given it to them. There's a lot of factors that make the teenager not obey you. The simple thing, simple example which I can give you is one teenager came and asked me. For example, a teenager came and asked me, it's a she, why do you say that we cannot go out of our house after sunset? Why do you say that we cannot go out in the night? It's dangerous. My mother keeps worrying till I come home. What is the reason? I said to her, and she also said, my mother asked, why can't you do what you are doing? Going out, hanging out with friends, having a drink, all of this during the day. Why does it have to be night? I said to her, I'm going to give you an example or a situation which will probably be more logical to you if you agree with me. She said, all right, tell me, what is it? I said, have you seen the sunrise? When the sun rises, what happens? The whole world wakes up with energy. The flowers bloom, the leaves sway in the wind, the birds chirp, and then they go and find food for themselves. The animals fend for themselves and go for water bodies. Everyone is awake, everyone is energetic. Even the ant is energetic during the day. So I said to her, when the sun is up, your energy levels are up. Your rhythm of your body changes during the day. And when the sun sets, there is not only darkness, but there is also lowering of your energy. So when your energy levels are low, your mind is weaker. So the crimes happen in the night, much more than during the day. Do you really want to subject yourself to that weakness of the mind? Do you really want to subject yourself to that risk which you are going to take when there is darkness? Then she argued with me, saying that, but the same crime can happen during the day. I said, I completely agree with you. No question about that. If a person wants to commit a crime, he can do it during the day or at night. But the chances of you getting affected during the day is much less than during the night. There is silence, there are not too many people outside, and that there is darkness, so people cannot see you, you cannot see anyone, and your energy is at the lowest ebb. People's mind turn violent, anything can happen. Then she told me, yes, it's kind of making sense to me. I said, you compare yourself with the nature. The nature has all the answers to your questions. And she went back with a little bit of conviction that what I said was true. And her mother reported to me saying that she has become a little sober, she is able to listen to me. She listens to me. So what I feel is that the teenager is not the problem. The people who are handling the teenagers are the problem.